Okay, it's doing some weekend analysis here, and I'm looking at this book that I actually own. It's still going for $50 used. Amazing. Real paper book. And this is something that when I was studying the Elder Race stuff, and I had all those videos and studied with the guy, and he had the Tony Plummer on his book site, his trading site, so I bought it. Came with a very small pamphlet of just the keynotes, and that was like, I think it was like $100 for the video, the book, and the printout from some seminar. So this is supposed to be the Holy Grail. Not the Holy Grail, but this is supposed to at least give you a calendar, a time projection price. So I'm going to attempt to run this strategy on the MetaTrader, just out of the box MetaTrader. So I just opened a new demo, and trading a demo, it may seem like, I mean, if your ego's too big, you're gonna figure that's too much work, right? Because you're like, hey, I'm busy. But running a demo and treating it, in other words, being able to see yourself outside of yourself, right? So you're on the 5-minute chart. In other words, if there's nothing going on your real account, just go to the 5-minute real time and see how other brokers behave as far as their tick chart. You'll see that you can do arbitrage. You could have 10 brokers and do arbitrage, right? You don't have to, like, you know what's coming, right? You know. And the thing is that if you know what's coming, can you still get in right on the right rhythm? In other words, even if you knew, would you be prepared to either pull the trigger at the market, or are you going to have a pending sitting out there in space and just trust and believe that at some point the market has to reverse? Or maybe it doesn't. It just keeps blowing out your stops, right? Presupposing you didn't put too many orders in the account, right? So you start with, say, 50 or $100, right? You get that account to $400. Now you got to be a little pickier, because you want to act as if you've still got $50 starting, right? You just don't want to ever, maybe when you get to 10 grand, then you act like you've only got $200 to work with. But you should be able to take the 200 and make it 600 if you're a really good trader, right? In other words, if you're supposed to be doubling your account, shouldn't you be getting everything within, dialed into like the tightest zone of, you're so good, right? I mean, you know what to do when the market's spending too much time at one price, and you know what to do when the market's on fire. And say it's on fire, and you do have your 1-minute chart or your 1-minute trading desk available. You know there's nothing you can do about that market right now, unless you decide to jump on the scalper highway. So, like, if you're a full-time trader and you're just staring at the screen, why not just break out the demo and trade the hell out of the demo, right? And just punish that demo on the 1-minute chart. It doesn't matter if you blow. It's not about winning or losing. It's about seeing how much money it takes to trade a particular pip move. And if your leverage is pretty, you get with 3001 leverage out there. You get 3001 leverage with a fixed pip stop. I mean, that's about as good as it gets out there right now. Then you can go all the way to America, where they put you on a leash, so you're just like, you literally don't have enough leverage. It's not even worth trading, right? I mean, it's the whole point of trading is other people's money. It's the leverage. If it wasn't for the leverage, who's going to get a case full of euros and get in a plane? I mean, the airfare is the spread. So obviously, being able to trade at the volume, I mean, if the spread's under 1 pip, right? You're in the euro dollar. Spread's under 1 pip. It's only costing you 10 cents on a nano, or it's costing you 10 cents on a micro account, right? When you pull with a zero commission broker, when you pull the trigger, it's 10 cents on your micro. Then from there, you're just scaling up. Now, trading a $1,000 position with $30 in your account, I mean, it's insane, right? So, but if you pay attention to every move in there, you know, and you know what session you're coming in, you are looking for the kickback out of the next session if you're going to get in on that style of entry, a limit or a stop. And that's so that the whole thing that about it being, the only thing about writing a trade plan up in advance is you know you have the trade plan locked in. In other words, when you get a flat tire, you've got maybe 2 spare tires in your car, right? I mean, that's the trader's world. You need to have 5 spare tires in your car. We had a guy out here that was going the wrong way, 4 flat tires the wrong way, and he claimed he was sober, right? So anything, you know, people are, you know, you have to have backup plans like you can't believe, right? If you want to protect your capital, but you also want to take advantage of all these moves. So this Tony Plummer book, you know, I was really fascinated by the Fibonacci. So inside of, look at this broker, new demo. When it opens up, they just give you nothing but, I think I deleted all the indicators. This is like the raw thing. Now I'm going to go to line chart, and I'm going to use that as my reference. But I'm not going to reference all of these, the past history, because it doesn't matter. If this market has a fractal, it should be, in other words, if Fibonacci really works, it should work on any time frame. So I'm just going to chunk down to these, so we can, if anybody's an Elliott wave counter, they can see all the Elliott waves in here too. Yeah, I turned the bars off, right? Because the bars are just too much, right? And that's a breakout strategy. I'm just going to do a time, price over time, like Gann theory. And let's see if I can scrunch this to the end. So I'm going to go to the daily, but I'm only going to look at as far as they let me zoom in on here. Okay, so I'm going to go to max zoom, kind of. Now the Fibonacci, if you were going to, okay, so we're looking at this much data, right? We don't want to get overwhelmed. So break out the fib tool. I should be able to whip it up here pretty quick. It shouldn't take more than a minute. If it takes longer than a minute, then you're just making stuff up, right? Now this is the swing low. I guess we just pick, I don't know how this thing works. We'll just pick any, it should work on any turn, right? So here's a big turn right here. So does it work? Yeah, sure, right? It comes back to the 618, but on close, right? Now, if I turn this on, and then you can make the argument for, well, it's a little sloppy here, but see, now all I got to do is move this a little bit and I can adjust that, right? So I could get it like, oh, look, it's perfect. But that's kind of hindsight, you know, but it is better pivot off of here, but it's not to the swing high. So what is the true, how do you use Fibonacci? Well, you know, I think you just have to really just go with your, you know, you're looking for as many hits as you can get on it. Now the thing about, there's no trades until you sell up here, right? And then the Tony Plummer extension is up here. And that's why, you know, it's such a, he's looking to make 4 times his money. So if you're going to do the projection, you're going to have to come down and scrunch it all the way down. So the 618 is now the small vibrations right here. And now it makes sense, right? Now if you choke it in here and you're in your target, okay, this top became a bottom at the 100%, you know, and it's also the pivot here, right? And it blew right through this 618. It's not like you could have said, well, I'm going to sell 1618, right? It's ridiculous, right? I mean, and this is where people get in trouble. They say, well, I've got this, I got that, therefore it should turn here. No, it kept blowing through. This became the support, but I guess that's good, right? Because if you turn on the bars of the candles, right, it's a big mess. You would never have drawn it like that. You would have dragged it to these wicks. Time and time again, people do it, but this is the Gann approach. This is price over time. another thing, we turn the chart shift on. So we turn the chart shift on inside our properties, and this is how we're going to find where we want to get in the future. I'm going to fix the scale too. Now I'm going to drag this into the future, and then I'm going to do the GAN. I'm going to do the Fibonacci price, Fibonacci cycle projection. Now, am I doing it right? Like, now some guy's going to come by and go, no, this should be up here, right? In other words, he wants to trade this. Now that's true, right? We could do here to here, but we want to trade this zone. We want to take all of the retracements that are happening now. You dial this into the tightest known last price pulse. Right? It's all that we really care about right now. Now it's great to look back. It's great to have all this data on your chart, and this is, you know, anybody's watched my video knows my gripe about people that have this much data on the chart, right? And they're like, well, is there a trade out there? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Look how far away from reality. How much money do you got, right? I mean, I'm on a daily chart, and it's going up and down. How many pips? Like look at the big picture here. Take your fib tool. Yeah, sure, I could do this, right? And this, yeah, it works, right? But it doesn't mean that when the market gets to that price, and I'll do 100% to this swing high. And of course, this top becomes the bottom, right? But does that really does that help me much on this 1618? I could prove 618 wrong all day, but then somebody would say, yeah, but you got to come out here, man. Put it down here at the bottom. Okay. See, now it's perfect, right? Now, the fib inside the fib, right? And so we could do all these. Here's the apex of the triangle. I could hang the 100% off of that, and you know. But if I cheat, or if I just say, oh, I'm going to drag it to here, I reference, right? But this is a constant flux. You've got to constantly be moving this. This is like the patient comes back after you've done the surgery and they're healed up, and now they have recession, right? So the recession they have is the point at which nature just, in other words, as time goes on and everybody gets bored with the current, it gets in the doldrums there, and then something kicks it through the triangle. So this has been going up and up through these triangles for, you know, for how long now, right? And then if we're going to do the projection in time, there's a fib tool in here. I guess you got to add it to the palette, so you need to right mouse click on this toolbar and go to customize and find the Fibonacci time zones, and this should give us a projection into the future. And then the colors are probably going to be pretty not to my liking, but it comes up like this, and then this is just kind of doing a good old fib. It doesn't go past 34, or I might have actually cut this or something, or built this. I don't know if this is out of the box. I guess this is the way it is out of the box, right? But it's the Fibonacci series, and then you would pick the last, you know, swing high. Now, I guess if you want to back test this, you have to ask yourself, what would you have done back in, like, would you have sold here because you're at the 618 and it's on the 3-banger? I don't know if you could do it like that, because it's literally, you're so zoomed out. This is like, you need to slice, you need to look at what just happened, maybe, and build your time price, and just use this as the trend. And then we're going to zoom in we're going to zoom in more. There's no way I can deal with it out in that far out in space. I mean, the story is a very short story. The market's just it's not a big novel. It's just a series of short stories. I mean, these kind of patterns are totally worth entering on. You know, these are the highest probability, and you just can't have more than I'm going to turn this grid off here. You can't have more than that much data on there. A lot of people run that grid on there. I guess it is squaring up, but I don't even know how many pips that is, so I'm just going to turn it off because it's kind of getting in the way here. And I'll go for the period separators, which gives me the so I know how much time's gone by. So if counting months, right? I can cue this fib time tool to the months. Okay. Unfortunately, too zoomed out to. Here we go. So this is the months, right? And this is still too much data. So I'm gonna go to the zoom this all in. Try to grab these tools here. Let's take them into current. I don't care about all that back there. I just keep at the apex of this triangle, right? It's last known reference. The only thing that really matters, and this is locked right onto the months. So this is 8 months out, Fibonacci style. Of course, you know, anything can happen way out there. I guess I'm gonna slice that so that my first month is on number 2. Take it to the other way to do it that I think is better is like this. Flip it around so that you're looking at time running out, right, as opposed to the other way. So if we invert the tool and then cue it off of the peaks, the 34 is be off of this peak, and the 21 is going to be off of, or we'll put this to that. Try to cue it, and that's the problem. So you're trying to fit a tool to an organic piece, right? It's like you breaking out a micrometer in the woods and trying to get it to cue to the this looks more realistic. Okay, so I'm gonna drag this all the way into next month. We're only planning for next month, but we do know this is support. Okay, now I gotta try to zoom in on that. And let's see here. Okay, well there you go. It's maybe a little overdid it there on my time tool. Definitely not easy to arrange this stuff. I guess I'm going to use 34 and 21 off of last month. But you can see how difficult the manipulate. I guess it doesn't match with fib. Okay, I got a lock here at 21. So if you think that this thing is going to keep going up, you have to speculate when the time's going to run out. And we just got the good old trend line in here too. You know, the magic of waiting for the market to come back to this. If the market gets back to here by there, maybe the fib thing lines up. But if you put too many tools up here, right? This is why I'm totally against it, right? I just totally against. Who isn't totally against this? So I don't know. Did I prove my case that Fibonacci is just not worth the trouble? You're just not doing it right. No, I mean, I guess you could, you know. But okay. So where's the trade, right? What are we gonna do here? Daily dollar yen. So it's almost like you have to get around these tools in a way, right? Because in the end, all that really matters is this is resistance. In other words, it's great to entertain yourself and be a sophisticate, right? But in the end, this trading is so for dumb people. And people that just understand risk management, which is kind of like being an insurance salesman, I suppose. Okay, so here's the double top, right? Now, if you had buy stops at that fractal, you're long, right? Does Fibonacci even matter? you kept buying here because it was the apex of this triangle. Did Fibonacci show you that triangle? Absolutely not. So this is the supply zone, right? You can take all this other shit off the screen. It so doesn't matter, right? So do you have a pending down here at fair value on this internal top becoming a bottom? So this is my strategy. Always have your pending sitting at the supply zone if you want to buy or sell. But who's selling down here at fair value? You could sell and buy at fair value. In other words, here's a sell and here's a buy as it cuts through. But notice the market doesn't spend too much time. Like, notice how it runs through certain zones. So if you go to the weekly, we'll just zoom out. I mean, just look at this same stuff right down here. Once it got the party started here, right? This is the giant top became a bottom. So imagine this is the 15-minute chart. Doesn't matter, right? Comes back in. You're buying like a whore, right? You've already got the trends up, and even on the sample going back, right? Even way back here, it's just up, up, up. But I think there's definitely going to come a point in time here when the yen is done going up. At some point here, we're coming up on this. We just broke this trend line here. So now what, right? Look at this trend line. Just amazingly triple, breaks hard. So what's the next deal with the yen? Okay, there's the trend line broke. Yeah, the sellers are coming in up here. Okay, there's the monthly. So obviously you want to sell up here, right? 127. Just want to sell if it goes up. I guess this is my strategy. I sell high and I buy low. It doesn't really matter. Does it really matter? I mean, aren't you just really entertaining your ego and stuff? Like, who didn't see this down here, right? Look at this top. This is where it all turned around. Top became a bottom on the monthly. Kablamo. Then it took out this. Seriously? Wow. It never came back to the starting gate. Now we're up in this trap zone here. Whew. Wow. Man. All the way back to fair value, I would say. As fair as it gets. Then look at all the exchanges that happen at that level. Now we could punch through, maybe. Maybe it just goes off the map. I don't know how much far back my data goes, but maybe this thing just goes forever, right? It becomes like it's some number like gold went to, right? You're like way up here now. So anything's possible. If you lock this scale here, it doesn't let me stretch, but if you imagine it just going up there, right? And it just goes from 70, double of 77 is like 140, what was that, 154, right? So we still got 154 to come. If you're going to double this number, we're only at 120, so we'd be up testing this 144. You know, like a gross, right? It's like Gann would have loved to have seen that number. I don't know if he was alive for the 144 gross on that. Anyways, that was kind of a tangential view of the dollar yen, but I don't know if anybody knows how to use Fibonacci. you know, that you can have my Tony Plummer book for free.